Mic check 1 2. It's the Y2K Collector, and I'm back with another video. Today, I wanted to talk about 3 things just to kind of get you up to date on what's been going on with me. First, we're obviously going to talk about video games. I'm going to let you know what I'm playing lately, and also I'm going to talk to you about some of the recent sales that I made and how much I was able to get for the games that I sold. Second, I'm going to catch you up on what's going on with my health and fitness journey. As many of you know, I set out on a goal to lose 25 pounds between now and March, and I'm well on my way to achieving that goal, but more on that later. And then finally, I wanted to talk about YouTube. I want to talk about the channel and where I see things going for myself and just where I'm at in my creative space when it comes to making these videos and creating content for my subscribers. So if you haven't been around on the channel for a while, pull up, relax, grab yourself a drink, and why don't you join me just for a quick update here on a cool Saturday night. So first off, lately, I've been getting into Super Nintendo, as you all know. I spent a lot of time playing Final Fight, and I actually beat that game. But now I'm actually getting back into my space shooters, which is one of my favorite genres when it comes to video games, period. And it's really interesting because I was actually able to get out this weekend and try to go and make some trades and make some sales. I had told you on the channel that I had set up a Switch deal where I was going to be selling a whole bunch of Switch games, and I actually was able to make it to my local game store, and I brought about I want to say between 35 and 40 Switch titles. Nothing super exclusive, but games that you probably wouldn't see in places like GameStop or at your normal game store. And so I brought those down to get those sold. And it's funny, while I was there to go ahead and sell those games, I actually wound up running into a complete in box copy of Last Resort. Last Resort, for those of you who don't know, is a space shooter on the Neo Geo AES. It's one of the pretty rare ones. I mean, everything on the Neo Geo AES is really expensive, but Last Resort is one of the more expensive ones. And when I was at the store, the complete in box copy, guy wanted basically $800 for it. I'm not spending $800 for a game. I just can't do it. Not during these times. But he had some pretty cool stuff. When I was at the store, he had picked up a bunch of new stuff, but I realized something while I was in the store, and that's something super important, which is that I am actually content. Like, I am no longer in a place where when I see a game, I feel like I need to pick it up and add it to the collection. He had a ton of great stuff, but I was not interested in trading for anything, which actually shocked me because I've been on this game hunting journey for so long, and I feel like where I'm at in my journey is actually changing. I'm really enjoying playing my games, which is why you see me getting into R-Type. But I've just been getting back into my shoot 'em ups, and while I was there, he had one of the best shoot 'em ups of all time. Like I said, Last Resort, if you've never heard of that game, it's an amazing space shooter, but I just wasn't in a place mentally nor financially to drop that much money on a game. So I was there, and I was able to get pretty much all my Switch games off, which is really great for me. I'll let you know how much I was able to make in a second here. But once I got back home, I decided to dive into R-Type Final 3 on the Super Nintendo. And this is just one of those games that's just super tough because you cannot speed this game up. R-Type is not one of those games where you can try to speed through it. You have to play this game at its pace, and it's going to crush you. If you don't know the levels, if you're not used to the weird off timing of how the enemies come at you, and it's one of those situations where your most effective, beam is your charge blast, at least in the beginning of the game, until you get all your power-ups and everything like that. So it's a very fun game. It's a tricky game. And I would say if you're easily frustrated, you may want to kind of skip this one. But I love a good shooter. I love a good space shooter. Those bring me a ton of fun. And I just grew up playing these types of games and watching my brothers play these types of games. So yes, they can be very challenging, but I'm always up for the challenge when it comes to a good space shooter. And as you can see, I just lost again. So So pretty cool stuff there with the space shooters. Glad that I was able to get to the game store. So getting back to that, when I went there, I initially brought pretty much a box of Switch games to sell those, which really was what our original deal was. We had made a deal for me to bring the Switch games, but just by happenstance, I decided to bring some games that I thought were pretty much heavy hitters, some bangers. I actually brought House of the Dead on the Sega Saturn, the original House of the Dead on the Sega Saturn. I have that complete in box. It's mint. And then I brought a minty copy of Silent Hill 2, the greatest hits version on the PlayStation 2, black label copy of Silent Hill, as well as Ribbit King, I think it was, and Game Boy Micro. Wound up selling all of the Switch games and Ribbit King and the Game Boy Micro, but I wound up keeping House of the Dead and both copies of Silent Hill because I don't think I was getting quite the offer I was looking for on it. Based on the numbers he was giving me, he was roughly giving me around 50% of price charting when he normally gives me around 70 to 75% on the value of games that I sell to him. So because of that, I decided to keep them in my collection. I wasn't ready to sell them yet. I'll probably make another stab at selling them. But just at this game store, I bring so much to this store that a lot of times they're not even able to pay me for everything that I'm trying to sell them. So I kind of have to sell them games piecemeal. So but it's all good. I have a great relationship with the store owner, and I've sold to them a bunch. So pretty good stuff. I'm sure I'll be able to go back in a future time at a future date and get a better deal out of those games. But for now, I decided to keep them in my collection. I'll let you know what I got. So for the 40 Switch games that I sold along with Ribbit King and the Game Boy Micro, I got close to $1,000 for that. Not bad when it comes to just getting a straight up cash offer on the games that I was selling. Like I said, I wasn't interested in trading for anything. There have been times where I've gone and I've gotten, $2,800, close to $3,000, and I wind up spending like $1,000 on, games and different items. But this time I was really more focused on just trying to, remove the things out of my collection that I didn't really want. Get rid of the things in my collection that I wasn't gonna play, and kind of take those funds and steer them more into just other areas of my life that I'm really kind of focusing on right now, which leads me to the next thing that I wanted to get you up to date on, which was my weight loss journey. It's been crazy. These few days, just not having a phone and just kind of, just being more focused on work and more focused on myself has really allowed me to just concentrate and hone in at the gym. And I've really got myself down to roughly around 208 pounds. So at the beginning of the year, I was roughly between 226 and 224. So that's a huge drop for me. So shout out to me. I'm proud of myself. 15 to 16 pounds in a matter of 2 to 3 weeks was huge for me. I do feel myself hitting pretty much a wall, almost like a wall of resistance, roughly around the 208, 207 mark. So I know to lose these next 13 pounds, I'm really going to have to work hard. I didn't really have to work that hard to lose the initial 15. It was pretty much just a diet change. I started playing Ring Fit more. I also played Fist of the North Star fitness boxing more. If you're looking for 2 games that will help you get in shape, I highly recommend Fist of the North Star fitness boxing. It's a newer game. But if you're into beat 'em ups, I love beat 'em ups. I've always loved the 2D beat 'em ups, and I even love the 3D beat 'em ups. I love the Yakuza series. I love the Fist of the North Star series on the Xbox 360 and PS3, as well as Fist of the North Star Lost Paradise on the PS4. So I even had Fist of the North Star on the Game Boy. So I've always been a fan of that franchise, but just being able to get it in a boxing format, it's been great. And that game, I used to think Ring Fit will kick your butt. No, Fist of the North Star will kick your butt. I'd rather go to the gym for 2 hours than play just one session of that game, because it is brutally intense. It is high energy, high intensity, very few breaks, and you will bust a mean sweat playing that game. But it's definitely worth it because, I mean, the proof is in the pudding and the results have been amazing. I'm finding myself able to fit into clothes that I haven't been able to fit into for years. And, you know, you just kind of get just a sense of self-confidence. Not so much in the way you look, but just in being able to say, I set out a goal to lose this weight and I was consistent. I was conscientious, and I made sure that I stuck to my guns to lose the weight. So I've gotten a lot of momentum in this way, and I'm really excited about being able to lose these next 13. It's going to take a lot of focus, but I'm definitely going to do that. And again, just keeping the gym as part of the regimen, but also cutting out sugar. Now, today was a bad day because it is restaurant week here in New York. And I decided to take advantage of it with my family. And in doing that, I wound up indulging in some ice cream and some brownies and some pasta and all the horrible things that'll just destroy your diet, right? But this week I went to the gym 5 days straight. So I earned a cheat day, and what better day to cheat than on a day when my family and I are enjoying New York Restaurant Week. So that has been a blast, and I'm glad that I was able to have that experience, especially with my daughter, because just being able to take her around town and expose her to different things, it's always just a joy to see her face light up when she's able to see new things for the first time. So that has been a blast. And that kind of leads me into the third thing that I want to talk about, which was just the future of the channel, which I think I'm going to follow this 3-tier update format, which I think just works well for me and works well for where I'm at, because like I said, I do play video games for sure, and I'm always going to keep you up to date on what I'm playing or where my collection is going or what I'm collecting or even what I'm selling. But the family piece of it is huge, and the fitness piece of it is huge, and there's so much more to life. And so I figure I take use the end part of my videos to kind of just update you with what's going on with Y2K and where my focus is and what I'm planning on leaning towards with the channel. And there's a few things that I'm going to be getting into. I definitely love the video games. You're definitely going to get more footage on that, but I am going to be talking more about fitness as well as family. Family is huge and family is important. And there always comes that point in the day where you have to put the controller down and go hang out with your brother, hang out with your sister, hang out with your mom, your dad, hang out with your son, your daughter, and go out there and do real life things. And this weekend has been a blast in doing that. We decided to hit the city. We went downtown Manhattan. And as I told you at the beginning of the video, I'm in a very much of a clear out phase. Like, I want to get rid of any and everything that I don't really need, use, or don't see myself using within the next 6 months, right? If I'm not using it within the next 6 months, it can be sold, it can go. And so I did a huge clean out of my closet and got rid of just a ton of clothes that I realized I'm just either too old for, too grown for, too big for, too small for, just don't care to have. And clearing out my wardrobe felt like just clearing out so much clutter in my brain. It's amazing how clear-headed you feel when things are just clear and clean and tidy, and just doing that was a huge weight off my shoulders. Now, I was disillusioned as to how much money I thought I was going to be able to get in taking my clothes into the city to sell them, but I did. I hit up two places. First I went to 2nd Street, first I went to Beacon's Closet. That's a swanky little thrift store on 13th Street in Manhattan, and then I went and jumped on over to 2nd Ave, which is another thrift store right around the corner from Beacon's Closet. I think that one's off either University or Broadway. I think University. And went to both places. The first store didn't buy any of my clothes. I guess it just wasn't high fashion enough, but I was able to sell a few pieces, actually a good amount of pieces. I think I sold about 8 or 10 pieces at 2nd Avenue, which is the other thrift store that I went to. And I was completely floored. For the 10 pieces, I only got $24. So I guess you do make more money selling video games or reselling video games than old clothes. But I mean, I did it more for the experience. It was cool. I wound up donating a bunch of clothes. There were some clothes that I took back. Maybe I'll try to sell them on eBay, or maybe I'll just give them to friends and family. But getting down there and enjoying that was fun. We got to do that as a fam. While down there, there's a bookstore. I can't remember the name of it, but I'll put it on the screen here. We got to go to this bookstore and check out some pretty cool books. And while I was there, I found this sick book that I can't wait to share with you. I'm not going to share a lot about it here in this video. There'll be more to come on that in the next video. But I found this really cool book that gives you like a brief history of video games, like in a flash. It's maybe about 100 pages at best, but it just takes you through the whole timeline of video games in this really concise, cool format with pictures and everything like that. And I just thought that was a really sick book. So I picked that up. And then my daughter was obsessed with this Bluey book. So I went ahead and picked that up for her, because if I didn't get it, I would have never heard the end of it. So we wound up picking that up and then stopped on into Flight Club. As you all know, I'm not a sneakerhead, but I do appreciate a good shoe. And I do see myself kind of steering a little bit more into fashion, even here on the channel, because you know, as a dad, especially as a young dad, there's a lot of things we go through, right? We got to deal with dad bod. We got to deal with the fact that we're not young enough to, you know, wear the skinny jeans and wear the dunks all day, right? We got to kind of step it up and try other fashion trends. So I may steer the channel a little bit in that direction, just to kind of help you all see what I'm getting into, how my wardrobe is transitioning, how my fashion sense is transitioning. But we did happen to pass by Flight Club, and I was in there, and I had to run out of Flight Club because I forgot how expensive sneakers can be. But geez Louise, my goodness. I mean, but I wound up picking up a pair of shattered backboard Air Jordan 1s, you know, the orange and tan ones. And I was just blown away with how much those cost. I mean, thousands? Is that where sneakers are at? I mean, geez, that's a mortgage payment. I mean, I just don't know. I guess priorities, right? And that's a funny thing. And you'll hear me talk about this more in the future on the channel. But just as you get older, as you know, life takes over, you just start to prioritize a little bit different, and life has its ebbs and its flows. And that's what I'm coming to learn. You have seasons that you go through where you get really into things, and then maybe your interests change, or maybe your passions change. But the one thing that has to stay the same is the work ethic, right? You have to keep your work ethic, and you have to make sure that you're doing everything that you can to make sure that you're taking care of yourself and your family, taking care of your health. And those are the things that have to stay constant. So, yeah, as much as I love sneakers, priorities. So yeah, that's pretty much the big update right now. Just still losing the weight, happy to, see the progress that I've made. Also stoked about being able to find that amazing retro video game history book, or the history of video games. Was happy to be able to do that, and that was just really cool to be able to spend that time with my family and enjoy Restaurant Week in New York. We happened to go to a pretty cool and swanky seafood spot out in Brooklyn. They had a prefix menu where you got to take advantage of some good meals and some good deals. I wound up grabbing some calamari. I had shrimp marinara, which was amazing. The pasta was just al dente, perfecto. And then they had a really good dessert. They had this amazing fudge brownie. So if you're in New York and you happen to be around, it is Restaurant Week. Go ahead and take advantage of that. You could definitely get some good deals there. And then when it comes to the video games, man, I mean, check your local game store, because people are selling. I mean, it's crazy, some of the things that people are selling, some of the things that people are getting rid of. And it kind of tells me something. I think that the large scale nostalgia has worn off for a lot of people, and for a lot of people, real life is coming back into focus. And by real life, I mean work, bills, responsibilities, priorities. Things are just, coming back into focus. And this is where you're going to see a lot of people, as I've said in past videos, sell more of their items and just kind of downsize their collections. I'm not there yet completely. I know the things that I'm going to keep. I know the things that I want to have in my collection. And I'm glad that I was able to downsize my Switch collection even more. I don't feel bad about selling any of that stuff. It feels good. Like I said, just like clearing out my closet, just like clearing out my games, just like clearing out anything else, the more space you make, the less clutter there is, the more clear-headed you are, and the more you can think and kind of prioritize. And that's just where I'm at right now. So those are the updates that I got for you. Thanks for stopping by. Not my usual video, but like I said, there's so much going on right now, so much that I want to share with you on the channel. Just not able to do it in this bite-sized video, but there will be more to come. Be on the lookout. And thanks for stopping by and hanging with me on a Saturday afternoon, evening. I am the Y2K Collector. Hopefully you get some time to spend with your family this weekend and enjoy some of your favorite hobbies. That does it for me. Take it easy.